Hi, hi Paul. My name is Monica, and I am here today representing NRK SAPME from Norway, and SAPME with my colleague Johanna Lokalstad sitting there. And I will use my time on this stage today to talk to you about what we in NRK know about our Sami-speaking users and how we can use that insight into the world of artificial intelligence and language technology. And first, before I start my speech, I want to show you a very short video, and I hope the sound is good.
你好，台北，非常高兴我今天能来这里与大家见面，期待通过今天的活动会对大家有更多的了解。
Yes, next time, thank you. Next time I will do this in Hakka. And I wish I could say that this is me that's been learning Mandarin for the last couple of weeks before my arrival here, but I guess that you already figured out that, no, that's not Monica that's been learning Mandarin. This is the machine, of course. And this is a machine that's been lip-syncing my Norwegian into Mandarin. And all it took was a video of me standing like this, speaking Norwegian about whatever I wanted for 4 minutes for the machine to learn my facial expression. And this is a very good example on how we want to use AI in the future of content creation. And I want to talk more about that later. So, the headline for this presentation is the Sami-speaking audience, who they are, and how to use AI and technology for a better future for minority languages. And the key word here, and the topic I think we're all most interested in, is AI, artificial intelligence, because that's the only thing we've been talking about the last year in the media, I feel. But to be able to talk to you about that today, I have to give you some user insight first. And I think I will bring to the table here today maybe some good news, maybe some bad news, but also definitely hope. I want to start by sharing a quote. There we go. One of Norway's most famous scientists when it comes to AI, Inga Strømke, she'd said something that really got to me regarding AI at a session at NRK a couple of weeks ago. She said, language is a reflection of what we are thinking, and we need to take that seriously. Meaning, we need to have a proper plan on how we are developing and using the machines for them to better understand the language. And this will also be one of my key points during this presentation. And to be able to speak to you about how NRK thinks about the use of AI within content and language creation, we need to take a look at what we know about our audience to put it all into perspective. So now I will quickly guide you through our insight. And to better understand the Sami audience, we have come up with 6 main user commands that creates the ground that our content is built on. And a better word than user commands might be user guidelines, guidelines for content creators, etc. But the purpose of these guidelines or commands is to answer to the audience needs in a best possible way. And to remember that when we work in this media and content bubble, we tend to forget who we are actually talking to, because we are talking to the audience with their everyday needs and struggles and worries and interests. And during the years that we spent collecting all of this insight, we ended up with so many interesting facts about how our audience use our content and how they use the language to consume the content. And we also saw that there are so many different ways of connecting to the Sami culture when you're young and Sami. Why is that? That is because some people, they live in typical Sami areas where the culture and language is very much alive. And some, they are living in bigger cities where it's difficult to find people who either speak your Sami language or engage in the culture the same way that you do. And after a while, we figured out that we had to do some research and interviewing between the different groups of young Sami people living different places in the Norwegian side of Sápmi. So, as Johan Ailo already showed you, this is Sápmi, which expands over 4 different countries, and the different colors and the different letters marks the areas of the different languages within Sápmi. And the Sami people, as I said, they live all over the country, all over Norway, like everyone else, in smaller villages and in bigger cities. Meaning, depending on where they live and where they have grown up, they have different needs when it comes to using the language and consuming Sami content. We ended up with a lot of interesting facts that we later on have used when deciding what to create for our audience. And I would gladly, and I mean that, stand here for 3 hours straight talking to you about that insight, because I really, really love that topic. But I don't have time for that, but I will gladly talk with you later about this, if this interests you. But I will tell you one thing. The main thing we ended up with, and that we discovered, that really ended up pushing us in the AI and language technology direction. What was that? That was, of course, the Sami language. Because whether or not our audience use one of the different Sami languages as their first language, or they don't speak any language at all, everyone we talked to was very clear with us that the Sami language is one of the key factors of feeling close to the culture, either in a sense of feeling at home if they're born outside a typical Sami area, living in a big city, and are searching for elements to be a part of the culture. Language was often the go-to, together with the gakti, the traditional Sami clothing that Johan Ailo actually is wearing today. Or if they're born and raised within the culture, with a lot of Sami-speaking friends and family surrounding them, they're very devoted in using the language as often as possible as a part of maintaining the language in a world where other bigger languages are taking over. And that is very important, as the former speaker also talked about on this stage some minutes ago. So, in an attempt to summarize my first slides, this is only an overview, right? We already knew, of course, that the Sami languages are important for our audience, because we, in NRK Sápmi, we've been creating content mainly in the Sami languages for over 70 years, ever since the beginning of NRK Sápmi. It's the main core of our assignment, content in the Sami languages. But all this new insight made us realize it's not only the Sami content itself that's important. It's the diversity in what we offer in the different Sami languages. And if we manage to make multilingual content, with the mission being more people to engage with and understanding the Sami culture. And what we experienced is that it doesn't matter how much content we make in the Sami language, because as long as the audience finds the content irrelevant or not for them, they won't consume it, they won't read it, and they won't listen to it. And that's harsh to hear and to say, but that's the fact, because it needs to be of the very best quality, and it needs to talk to them. They need to feel something when they consume it. And content that we make that the audience doesn't love is basically, in a way, worthless, because they don't use it. And we truly hope and believe that AI in the near future will help us in our mission to make the best multilingual content, because the audience have told us what they expect from us. And now we have to deliver on that. Havi, our Oariel Sami, Southern Sami speaking podcast with the hosts Nelly and Jonna. I'm now showing you some examples on how we are working with multilingual content without the help of AI. Maybe you already do this, maybe you do a little bit of this, maybe you don't, and you can get inspired. But I will show you what we already do, and I will later show you what we also want to do in the future. So this is Southern Sami podcast, and this language is spoken by under 1,000 people, around 500 people. But when broadcasting the language, this podcast, in our online television, national television channel, making visual radio in Southern Sami language with Norwegian subtitles, we make the content more available and understandable for everyone. Meaning, it doesn't matter who you are or where you come from or what language you speak. You are able to engage with these women speaking such a small language. And that is, I would say, a small step for man, but a giant leap for mankind. I'm sorry, I just had to use it because I think it's so good. And mankind being the Southern Sami language, which suddenly is everywhere. It's not only now between the 500 people, it's potentially everywhere. And that is a way of publishing and strengthening the language that we haven't really considered before. Another example of a visual podcast that Johan Ailo also mentioned is Gosoidalda, which is in Northern Sami. And they speak a lot about the taboos in Sápmi. And of course, we make children TV in all the Sami languages, where we also buy several of the big shows, and we dub them into Sami, so the children can see their superheroes in their own language. And the reason we do that, the reason we buy the big superheroes, is because the children and the parents have told us that that's what the kids want and need. They want to engage with the big national and international superheroes in their own language. Okay, so now that we publish Sami content and we are being multilingual and everything, we should be pleased, right? We have done our job. Check. Of course, absolutely not. No, we are not finished. Yes, we have done our job, but we have more job to do. We have just begun. And we are hoping that technology can help us in using and spreading the language, and then again the culture, and we are very much excited about this. And the reason we are excited is because we have realized that the insight we have done and the answers we got is very much connected to how we must use artificial intelligence in the future. So now, I will focus on what plans and thoughts NRK has when it comes to AI and language technologies. What possibilities and challenges lies ahead? Okay, so now we know. We know that our audience, they are desperate for more multilingual content. They want to consume Norwegian content with the different Sami languages as subtitles, and vice versa. And they also want Sami subtitles on Sami content as a way of learning the language and see it written while listening to it, because we know that's important for them. And they also want to be able to take part of the bigger news picture in their first language, Sami. Meaning, when we stream live in Norwegian from big news events from all over the world, for example, here from Israel a couple of weeks ago, we could offer them subtitles in the different Sami languages as well, because hopefully the machines we are using for automatic texting, they also understand Sami, all the Sami languages, or the big Norwegian or English very popular television show could also be subtitled or dubbed, like my Mandarin, in the Sami languages by the machines, because we don't have the capacity all by ourselves, or resources, or language skills to do it all alone. We need help from AI. And second, we want and need the different Sami languages to evolve, develop, and increase in Sápmi in general. We want and we desperately need more Sami language users for the language to be vibrant and alive. But all this is, of course, easier said and done, like everything else, because there's over 7,000 languages in the world right now. And 1/3 of them is threatened. And scientists says that those languages who belongs to the future are those who can be used in technology. Meaning, if you can't use your language on your phone or your computer, it will eventually die out. And we can't rely on the big tech companies to invest in languages who doesn't make enough money. It seems like we have to do it ourselves. At least we have to do something in order to prevent the languages from dying out. Our problem is that with the small languages, such as Sami, we don't have enough Sami text to feed the machines with. Because the language is spoken by so few, and we have only written Sami for 40, 50 years, the Sami is low in literacy. And when we have too little text to feed the open AI with, the machines doesn't really understand enough. They give terrible translations and aren't able to train themselves to be better. An example of that is, in Norwegian, scientists claim that we have 40 billion words to feed the machines with. 40 billion words. And they also said that in Sami, in total, we only have 40 million words in total, and that's just nothing. It's not enough. So when I've spoken to people with a lot of knowledge about AI and language technology, they all say the same. It's a huge risk for the language to feed the open AI with text if you don't have enough of it, if you don't have enough text, because you will end up with a language full of mistakes, the grammar gone completely wrong, meaning that when the audience uses this, they will learn and adapt to a language that's not good enough. But then again, if we don't ride the AI wave, what happens then? Will the Sami language suffocate and die a slow death? I won't jump to a conclusion that fast, because in Norwegian, we have a saying, to have ice in your stomach, meaning be a little bit patient and see what happens. 2 weeks ago, I had a talk with Ingalill Mikkelsen. She's a head engineer at the Arctic University of Norway, working at the Institute of Language and Culture. And we talked a lot about the future of Sami languages and the possibilities and challenges that lies ahead when it comes to AI and language technology in general. And to summarize, she said this: the Sami languages and other small indigenous languages doesn't have enough text available to feed the machines with to get the translation correctly. It won't be a success. Therefore, we are better served if we have the patience to wait just a little bit. Wait for the open AI to get better, and in the long run, for the AI to need less text and still do the job properly. And while we wait for the open AI to get better, we will continue doing what we've been doing for a lot of years now with the Sami languages, making the language more available and easier to use by manually doing what the machines do for the big languages, coding the rules for how the language works, making programs for machine translations, making sure the transcription gets better and better, and slowly, the language will be better. Even more people will be able to write grammatically correct, and in the end, we can feed the machines with more text, and that will be a more successful recipe. She also talked about the challenges and negative effects of AI when it comes to more people being able to use the Sami language. And this is a very interesting and important topic that we should talk more about, because, for example, what happens when the Sami people themselves, in the future, when AI works better with the minority languages, no longer owns the language? When everyone are able to make money on the language, the feeling can then be suddenly someone else is taking over the language and we feel that we are no longer in control. The Sami parliament has also said that it's very important that we make ethical guidelines regarding this. And the positive side is a lot of people, though, will be exposed for the language. Therefore, it will not be in the risk of dying out. But can it be too much? And as I see it, we can sum up quite a few dilemmas here. The first one being the issue that I just mentioned. What happens when everyone can speak your language? Second, what will our role be as broadcasters if we can just push a button and everything is translated and the machine is also capable of making good news content? What happens with us as broadcasters then? And also, because things are moving so fast, and we can't really or shouldn't keep up right now with the speed, will we lose our audience? Will they expect more of us and search for what they're looking for elsewhere? I don't know, but it is questions that we should think about. We need to make some guidelines on how to use AI and how to take care of and protect the language while doing it. So, to make a very short and easy conclusion when it comes to the small languages within the future of AI, have a little bit patience with artificial intelligence and their language skills when it comes to the minority languages. Work as much as possible manually with the language technology, machine transcriptions, and grammar program, so it's easier to produce text in the long run. Trust the process and hope for the AI to improve. And then we can feed the machines with enough text. So, in the end, what is NRK already doing and where do we see ourselves in the nearest future? First, we joined a project earlier this year with SVT, YLE, Sweden and Finland, and several universities in Scandinavia to collect more big data as a preparation for when we decide to give them to the OpenAI, when we are ready. And NRK is also slowly experimenting with AI using AI to create small summaries in longer news articles. And this is an example. And the text in the bottom of the summary in the news article is saying, this summary is made by a service from OpenAI, and the content is approved by NRK's journalists before publishing. We also use AI for some graphics, having a lot more options when illustrating articles and videos. And when we have also started testing transcriptions when editing big television shows to make the production faster and in need of less resources. So, we don't really have a strategy yet in NRK when it comes to AI. We are all talking about it, and we want to work with it, but it is a slow ride, I have to admit it. But we are, though, playing with and testing some of the opportunities out there when it comes to, for example, language recognition and how we can use that when making content. We have also started to slightly dream of when we are able to dub not only animation for kids, but also the big drama productions for grown-ups in the different Sami languages. Just watch this video.
台北你好，我叫 Marius， 在 NRK 从事人工智能工作。你现在看到的就是我们未来如何配音大型连续剧和电影。也挂用于小语虫，正如你所看到的，我说话时看起来很可信，你不同意吗？
He said that this is very credible. I hope it's true. We got it. We had some colleague that speaks Mandarin, and she said that this is acceptable. It's actually quite good, she said. So, as you saw, Marius was doing the same thing that I did earlier. He spoke Norwegian. It was texted to English and dubbed into Mandarin, lip-synced. This is just something we have tested, and we are not ready to start use this yet. But imagine to be able in a better AI future, some years ahead, to dub great movies, television shows in the smaller minority languages, not only Sami, but all the minority languages. Imagine all the people worldwide that will be exposed for all the minority languages. This is exciting, and it is a little bit stressful to think about, but it's just a proof that the opportunities and therefore also the challenges for content creation and languages in the future are so many. My time is up here. I think actually I'm quite over the time, yes. And to conclude, we have a long way ahead of us when it comes to working with Sami content and minority language technology. Very long way. But we can't afford not to be a part of the journey as long as we are being patient at the same time, preparing ourselves and continuously are trying to solve the challenges while testing the opportunities. Then I think we have come a long way. Thank you, Ologito Ansese.
Thank you, Monica.
好，那刚才大家应该都听了很精彩的演讲。那因为今天时间的关系，我只有12分钟，所以我大概会问每一个人，其实应该从2个角度啦。那其实只有2个问题而已。那最后会请大家做一个总结。那如果还有时间，可能会有大家再跟来宾做交流。那我就从离我最近的开始问好，因为廖老师从开场到结语，其实有一句话一直在重复，我有注意到，就是他希望电视台的工作环境跟配置改一下，其实就可以跟这边做很好的合作。那可不可以请廖老师，刚刚因为时间关系可能不够说，可以补充一下这部分电视台可以做什么
？OK， 好，那个就说，因为我们台湾的文化特殊哈，我们的电视节目一定有字幕，所以电视台本来就需要有后面节目做完以后，去打字幕的人这样子，那所以假如我们可以拿到那个字幕就算是那个客语的，那至少我们就有客语的声音跟中文字的对应，所以这个资料对我们来讲是很重要的，但是我们拿到的时候常常会有几个问题第一个就是因为电视台他们其实最终的成果是播出带，所以中间的东西都没有留。中间那些中间过程的东西都没有留下来，或者是说那个播出带跟中间留的东西，那个时间码是不一致的，那这个时候就变成我们后面在处理上面造成很多麻烦这样子，所以假如我们在这边可以同步的话，那可能这个收集就会更有效率，然后我们也可以把我们的工具给电视台，去做转写，那字幕做字幕后座或者做字幕翻译的工作，所以假如这边两边可以搭配起来，一起弄的话，那可能这个AI 的那个进步可能就会再更快，那应该是对我们对电视台双方都是共同有好处的，好，谢谢。
好，所以其实就是在字幕跟时间其实如果对得起来，然后中间的一些产物可以补充更好，这边可以提供一些工具给电视台。好，那其实同样的问题其实问集仕多的执行长，那其实因为你们跟电视台合作经验其实蛮多的，那针对因为台下可能有些电视台没有合作过，那怎么样合作会比较顺？那他们需要准备什么？
有好，就是在我们跟电视台合作的经验，就是说大家在产制的流程因为大家会有个别不同的系统，因为像节目的排程。然后可能有些就会导入自动系统，但是有些会是由人工来排或者人工来按，因为每家电视台的这个作业的流程会不一样。那所以我觉得在导入这个 AI 技术，其实中间会有一个需要沟通跟磨合的部分。所以就我们自己的经验，就是先做1、2集的这个测试，然后。刚刚提到比较像是系统的相容性嘛，怎么样把我们这个把我们新的技术，然后跟原有电视台的作业流程跟原有电视台的系统做一个整合。那我觉得这一块是除了技术工程端以外，它还会是一个需要去沟通调整的部分。那另外就是我们觉得像 使用者体验对我们来说，我觉得也是一个很重要的关键，因为毕竟使用者体验有时候我们的技术做得不错，或者说，技术其实已经可以做到一些不错的展示，但是它距离电视台愿意传达给这个观众它的品质中间可能还会有一个落差，所以我觉得怎么样把我们技术调整到满足电视台它可以接受的品质，那中间其实可能会做一些牺牲，就是说我们可能有一些就不要用那么高端的技术。举例来说，像我们可能 TTS 就没有那么多各种方言的 TTS 或是各种族群语言的 TTS， 而是说我们有些部分就找来录音，但是录音跟我们的系统可以完整的结合。那我觉得使用者体验是蛮重要的，怎么让电视台做到让它的节目有一定的品质。那另外就是跟流程的沟通，这大概是我觉得蛮关键的事情。谢谢。
好，谢谢。那这边大概就提到，就是其实还是要试了才知道啊。但你们因为有些经验，可能可以比较快的解决这些问题。So the first question I need to ask Miss Monica, and I want to ask you because based on your experience and what organization should do if they want to adopt AI in your media organization, or what skills should staff learn to upgrade their skills and stay relevant?
Oh, that's a very, do you have a sound? Yeah. That's a very good and big question. But to answer from a media and journalist perspective, though, one thing that we talk a bit about back at home, it's the fact that when the AI is taking more and more over, we are a little bit afraid of that the language will be, how to say, destroyed. You know, because we are afraid of, since we have so few users of the language, the AI is not able to learn it properly. So we need, even though in the future AI gets better and we are able to use AI for the different Sami languages, we still need very good speaking Sami journalists. So I think and believe that in the future, even though we have a lot of AI, a lot of help from AI, and we do a lot of good stuff with AI, make a lot of content in the different Sami languages, we still need Sami-speaking journalists as much as we do today.
Okay.
Yeah, so the AI will just be something extra to help us. And when it comes to what they need to know about AI, that's a very good question, and I think we are not really sure yet in NRK, and it's a bit boring answer, but it's the truth because we don't really have a strategy yet. We are very optimistic and we're very much in search of what we should do and talk a lot about this, but we don't have any answers yet. So we also wonder that.
Okay. So, but you like your presentation say you have leap one step. And that's enough, and because people should learn from doing, I think in AI. Okay. 那最后一个问题，我想要请教一下，因为等一下还有第二轮的问题是共同的问题啊。那最后一个问题，因为刚才陈董其实有提到一点啊，就是刚才最后提到一点，就是说其实你希望能够用一些比较新的方式去介绍新的客家故事。因为你刚刚有提到新的客家故事，其实有很多很多的题材，那这个部分可不可以跟大家分享一下？
我想，最大的问题就是客家语言目前为止状况啊，大概是传播在客家的社群里头，客家语言要传播成为国家的语言，要传播到其他的语言的这个范围呢，说实话还是差得很远啊。所以现在我们想办法，就是说让客家的广播。它不只是放在电台，它也要放在网络上面，啊，所以透过 podcast 或是其他的这样的一种传播的媒介，让不同的语言它都可以接触。那当它用广播的时候呢，要让跨族群的时候呢，就会增加的不同的语言的使用。我想这个也是同时在面临的课题啦，啊，当然这件事情在过去社会沟通里面经常都使用，就是多语言的沟通，啊，所以我讲一件事情，它不是只有一种语言。可是我想这件事情，说实话，它是非常生活化，而且长期在使用的。只是它没有办法， 或者是过去比较不常用在媒体的传播了。我想这件事情其实我们还是未来会花比较多的时间放在这个上头。
对，因为其实刚才每一位讲者其实都有分享一些用新的方法来解决这些问题。那可能之后也可以做一些比较多元的尝试。那等一下我要一个问题就是共通性的问题，因为蛮多听众刚才在自己留言里面问到一个问题，就是用 AI 会不会有一些，尤其是媒体啦，会比较 care 这个问题，会不会用 AI 会不会有侵权或法律的问题？因为比如说刚才有用到 AI 的人啊，有用到你可能用你的对嘴去对到一个，比如说普丁好了，那他会不会有侵权的问题？那这个问题我可以请，还或者是甚至是偏见的问题啊，因为 AI 可能会有偏见，他会觉得，比如说，黑人就是这样，白人就是这样，犹太人就是这样，那用到少数的族群更是会这样，所以，我可以请各个讲者可能就你们的观察跟角度，然后针对这个部分，包含 AI 的道德应用跟偏见在媒体上。你们有什么样的看法？那请大家比较简短的回答，因为我们时间有限。那我们还是请廖老师这边先开始。
OK， 这个主要是那个 data 处理的过程的问题了。就是说你要让它没有偏见然后没有歧视没有一些有毒的内容，那你从训练 data 的从收集 data 的初始阶段就要做这件事情，就要先清理，把那些有害的东西都先清掉。然后再拿去训练，那训练完还要再检查，试用的过程还要收取使用者的回馈，有问题的还是要再回来纠正，所以这个本来就是一个训练过程的问题了，所以训练过程只要有注意的话，它就会比较是可信赖的这样子，尤其是网络的资料很多都是很乱的，所以就是这个检查一定要做，或者有些人使用的方式是。最近有一个叫引进宪法 AI， 宪法 AI 了，就是在训练过程，就是跟大家讲说，什么东西可以学，什么东西不可以学，就很像最早那个机器人3大定律那种情况，所以也许这种可以解决一些问题这样子。好，谢谢。
好，那可能请执行长这边发表一下。
就我们的经验就是说，像新闻，尤其在媒体产业，在导入 AI 的部分，确实是会比较小心。那像我们在播这个节目没多久，这个 NCC 也是有在关切嘛。那我们跟 NCC 有举行过座谈，对，要强调是座谈，不是约谈，是座谈。那是真的座谈，就是我们分享我们的看到的趋势跟经验。那就是我想有几个原则，我觉得是沟通完大概理解，就是它原则上我们产生的内容应该是录播，不是直播，不是说产生直接出去，是录播，那会有人去做把关。那我觉得这一块原则是蛮重要，因为新闻有它的真实性。那语言模型其实，语言模型不能理解现在发生的事件，也比较难理解未来会发生的事情。所以其实语言模型要直接产生新闻的内容是不太可能。那中间一定会有很多问题，所以新闻的部分都是会希望是由媒体的从业人员来做把关。那这是我们在实务上看到的部分，谢谢。
那前2位是技术人，然后后面2位是媒体人。So, Ms. Monica, how do you deal with the bias issue or ethical issue in adapt your AI?
If the question is if we can dub, for example, Putin into other languages, what he is in fact saying, the answer is yes. The problem is when we start to make public people say Putin, Biden, Obama, whatever, say things they haven't said, and that's very easy. For example, when you saw my Mandarin, right? And that is a problem, and that is also actually, when I'm thinking now, an answer to your former question. When it comes to what should we as journalists and the broadcasters know about AI, and what should we be better at? And I think it's very, very important that we have super skilled people within the broadcasters as well that manage to verify fake videos and real videos, because it's a lot of them out there, and this is a very important topic.
Okay, so 陈董。
这个呢是一个大问题啦，不过也是一个小问题啦。我们也遇过这种事情啊，就是我们用一个2创的方式呢去做了一个影片， 让希特勒去说了客语，他的二创。可是呢，这个社会大众还是有人非常不接受那当然经过讨论呢，我们还是把这个片子把它放下来。可是我们在思考一个课题，就是说，那创作到底是它的界限在哪里了？我想这是要讨论的地方了不过我想，在这个新闻报道上头呢，当然不会有这种的事情一定是真人真事那 AI 它创造的一个人物，它要去说出新闻，它的可信度也很高。我想那个，特别是作为知识的传播、新闻的传播，它的知识性就是我们要把握的了。我想这个还是它有一些差异了。
我稍微总结一下，加一点我的看法，因为刚才第一位来宾、前2位来宾其实是比较从技术的角度那就是找到有能力去帮你去把关训练资料，帮你把训练资料用技术的方式做好。那莫妮卡这边其实她有提到一些，就是还是需要专业的媒体人去介入那最后其实陈董也提到一些他自己的一些经验，所以不管怎么样找专家，不管是一个是领域的专家，一个是技术的专家，所以 put human in the loop 就是人还是要在这个 AI 里面扮演一个重要的角色。那最后因为我们的时间，我这边前面已经看到4个大大的0了，所以我时间已经到了，但是我还是想请每一位专家大概30秒钟 30 seconds。给大家一个比较短的一个总结，就是今天的总结。那请教授这边先开始。
OK， 好，那我是觉得我们现在已经有客家电视台有公视台语台有原民台这些那这些资料只要可以公开来给这些我们做这些做 AI 的人用的话那这样子我们就有很大的resource可以去把这件事情做好那我们以前碰到的问题就是拿不到这些东西，就比较容易是拿不到或者拿到以后这个东西因为我也知道媒体人最后他们的成品就是播出带了所以播出带之前的东西可能不小心就不见了那所以我们呢从播出带再回去倒推前面的东西就常常就是很困难这样子了所以我是觉得第一个，假如是可以由比如说政府出面把这些资源放出来，第二个我们可以把工作程序两边稍微协调一下，那这整个进程就会非常的快速，那可能我们可能很快可以达到我们真正比如说特委会或者教育部他们想要的那个整个东西真的可以使用，可以把我们本土语言的整个推广出去，这个情况可能就很快可以达到，谢谢。
好，谢谢教授。那执行长。
那我们这边看法是其实像生成式 AI 它影响的所有的产业里面，大家很多人会讲说哪些产业被影响最大？其实大家会讲生成式 AI 影响最大是影音产制的产业，影音产制产业是生成式 AI 影响的海啸第一排。那媒体其实跟影音产制关联还蛮深的，所以我们看到一个很有趣的现象是，其实媒体在 AI 技术的落地，反而是还算容易落地。那所以我们也导入了一些不同的媒体做尝试。那我觉得这个可能跟过去的几次的 AI 的革命会稍微有点不同。过去的 AI 革命反而媒体还没那么快。那因为这次是影音制作产制，那我觉得未来在影音产制这方面，应该随着技术的蓬勃发展，那应该会有更多更有趣的应用。那个部分也是需要这个技术端跟这个业界一起去执行去共创。谢谢。
Okay, Ms. Monica, brief summary.
Yes, as a super quick last comment from my side, I just want to underline the importance of remembering how important it is to be a part of the AI wave, as I called it. Even though it might be a bit scary, as I also talked about, but the audience, they will expect from us that we engage in it and that we deliver to them content in the different minority languages because they know it's possible. Because they know it's possible and they want to engage with the language and the content the same way other people do with the majority languages. So we need to, in Norwegian we have a saying, let's run slowly. Meaning we are running, we are impatient, but we are patient at the same time. We are riding the AI wave, and we are also patient for us to be able to do it in the best possible way.
Thank you.
我想，对于客家来说呢， 如果说没有主流化，客家就会完了。所以面对这么强大的 AI 的这样的一个海啸过来，像客语的传播或者客家的传播呢，或者族群的传播呢，势必是要迎战的啦。那这个对于我们在做这个整个的传播的这个工作来说的话呢，不会害怕它，我想会去迎战它。
那其实我最后做一个总结啦，因为其实前面2位技术的专家都非常渴望跟各位合作，那包含媒体跟政府这边，其实他们都有想到一些做法，然后大家都蛮 open 的。那最后2位专家提到都是，其实都有点小步快跑的概念，就是赶快跑，可是你还是要等待看它后面会发生什么事，但是你如果不赶快跑起来，其实就来不及了。那大概是我今天做一些总结。那另外我自己刚才在听我一些想法，因为其实你说少数的语系，其实我刚好跟上一场，因为上一场后半段我有参加，我觉得可以连起来，因为其实这个时代最重要还是内容啊。那在做媒体还是在做内容。那我讲一个，就比如说看韩剧的时候，你们听得懂韩国人在讲什么吗？听不懂啊，我也听不懂。可是韩剧在全世界都是很流行的，所以回到媒体的角度，就是怎么做出更好的内容，然后透过这些新的工具，不管是 AI、VR、AR， 就是跟新的观众去做 engage。我相信这个东西是大家在未来几年会最期待、希望发生的事情。那大概就今天以上就是今天的一个讨论。那很抱歉，就是时间稍微长了一点。那希望大家可以从今天得到一些有趣的东西。如果会后还有兴趣，可以跟各位来宾做联系。谢谢大家。